This next news story is absolutely horrible and insane. Over 2,000 people, if not way more, are deceased or missing due to this Medicare fraud scheme, and this woman is blowing the whistle on this.
So this all started with your cousin. Can you explain what happened there?
Yes, when my cousin went missing, she was coerced into a van or a Suburban with other vulnerable Native relatives 8 hours away from us up in Farmington. They told her she would go to Phoenix for the day and take her home. All throughout the ride, they gave her alcohol, and she was brought to a home and asked for information. And because they told her she was going to be staying there, and she refused. That's when they gave her a fentanyl pill, a blue fentanyl pill. And again, she refused to give her information. That's when they kicked her out and told her that she would have to find her way home. So she tried to hitchhike back to New Mexico. When she told me what was happening is when I figured this is why we were missing so many people, and this is why we saw so many of these white vans.
Well, first of all, who are they? Like, who are the people that did this to her? And were they ever arrested? Were they ever charged?
No, these people were picking, I mean, they were everywhere on the reservations because on social media you saw the postings. There's white vans out here, and that's where the white van syndrome came from. There's white vans out here, watch your kids. So
This is video, by the way,
were,
you provided to us, right, of something like this happening?
yes, yes. So they were just everywhere on the reservations, anywhere they could pick up anyone to take to a home. And I worked catty corner from the Phoenix Medical Center, and they had then we're just going in circles. So I started taking notes, documenting everything, wondering what is going on. Why, because I'm a huge advocate for MMIW, MMIP, and I started seeing more missing posters come out. And I was like, well, why are they going missing? Where are they at? And those boards, I had 4 of those boards outside of missing people.
And the different, what happens when they get into the homes? So they get picked up by like the unmarked vans, right? Or you talk about the bus stops, these different, what happens in the homes?
Once they're in these homes, we found out that a lot of them were locked from the outside of outside of the house, so they couldn't get out. You'd had to unlock the doors from the outside. There was cameras all over these houses. There was wires all over the fences. So we've had our Native relatives literally have to jump over the fence and escape, break a window and escape, jump through the second story window just to get away from there. So they were treatment homes. They were traps.
Just to be clear about something, the state leaders said there's a crackdown, there's been convictions, there's prosecutions, there's investigations, there's now a class action lawsuit. They say the fraud has dropped dramatically. Do you believe this is still happening today? Do you believe there's still recruiters?
Yes, there is active recruiting today. We get reports on a daily basis, missing people on a daily basis, because I've been out doing this for almost 4 years now of reporting. And so when somebody goes missing, they reach out to us and we start looking. And we've reported it. We've told anyone and everyone who would listen, our people are going missing. Why are they going missing still to this day, 4 years later? Because it started in 2019. I got wind of it in 2022. Why is it still happening in 2026?
This individual over on X, Wall Street Apes, covered this once before, where people are being taken against their will to keep this Medicare money flowing in to these individuals under the guise of recovery.
I covered this story before, and one of the things that wasn't mentioned in the video that you just watched is that people were actually killed who tried to leave these fake treatment centers. They're locked in these homes, they're being fed fentanyl and drugs and alcohol, and the reason is to keep them there. And there was talks of people were getting shot and buried in unmarked graves who were trying to leave, and then they wouldn't report the people who were being killed or just died of overdoses because they covered it up to keep the money flowing so they could keep billing them. And this just reminds me of something else that Spencer Pratt was bringing up, and that's called body brokering. Because the woman at the end of that video said that this is still happening, and it's actually happening all over the country. There are people who go and pick up vulnerable people, and they put them in these treatment facilities, and they're getting paid for it. Just listen to this.
If you fund public safety and quality of life, guess who loses billions of dollars? The NGOs that give the kickbacks, that get these people elected, that come up with the fancy names. The billions aren't missing, they're spent, but how they spend them is to increase the problem. I was talking to this law enforcement guy that was at this community event. He said yesterday, the crazed dude peeing, pooping everywhere on the street in front of all these kids in school, and they get him under control, and then one of the health people comes and they go, would you like a pipe or a needle? And this law enforcement go, excuse me? Like, yes, we can give them a pipe. And he's like, what? And this is what we're talking about. Right. These are the medical street teams that Nithya and Bass, to give them pipes and needles. It's insane. And what the reality is, every one of these people is breaking the law. You cannot live on the street. You cannot do drugs on the street. You cannot be naked on the street. And people go, oh, what are you going to do, Spencer? Where are you going to put these people? Well, first off, most of these people are not from California. They've been bussed in by body brokers because it's such a business. These people make so much money. So once you shut down the business and you go in and you unplug all these NGOs, they're going to go to Seattle, or they're going to go out and they're going to grab all these people. They're going to put them on buses themselves because these are their products. This is what they make the money. So yes, again, homeless has different boxes.
All right, so that was the most important part of what was being said right there, is that these are body brokers. These are their products. These vulnerable people are their products, and they're going to bust them to anywhere that they need to bust them, because every time they do, they get paid. So if the money stops in one location, they put them all on buses and they send them to the next city where they can put them all back on Medicaid. They get all their money back, and it's just outrageous.
Yeah, they find extremely vulnerable people, and when these people are a part of the system, they can never leave. They just get taken from one location to the next. And the only way they can leave is by escaping, and if they're caught or they become a problem, they get taken out. It is just scary how many reasons evil can come up with to traffic people. But moving on, I do want to see what other people are talking about.
Of course, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think I just stumbled upon a new conspiracy theory. I think the word organic does not mean what we think it means. What should it mean versus what does it actually mean? I can't put my finger on it, but I want to show you something. These are the brownies I just ate. Ignore that. These are eggs I get from my coop in the backyard. Quick background. We have 8 chickens. We used to have 11 chickens, and then a month ago, a fox dug under the chicken coop, even though there's predator wire out the ass, got in and killed 3 chickens. So they haven't laid an egg in a month, which is very common when they go through a traumatic experience. So I had to buy eggs for the first time in almost 3 years. So I went to Whole Foods and I bought eggs. And just to prove to you, this is eggs. There's literal still on this egg from the chicken, you can see it. There you go. Just to prove that that was from my backyard. Actually, here, I'll do you one better. There are my chickens. There they are. They exist. So I'm going to crack one of each open, and I'm going to show you the difference of what an organic egg is and what a chicken egg should look like. First is the chicken egg from my backyard. Okay. I don't know how, I'm not a professional at this. Here is what the chicken egg looks like. Next is the Whole Foods chicken egg. As you can see, brown. Feels weird, but that's besides the point. Damn. Okay, are you fucking kidding me? Look at this. Whole Foods egg, real chicken egg.